Hey there, YouTube. Coming at you today with a philosophy of use video. And the term philosophy of use, or commonly referred to as POU, comes from Nut and Fancy. He has a huge YouTube channel, huge fan of him and his videos, and he's given me a lot to think about. I work nights, so on my nights off, I'll sit down on the couch and just watch a ton of his videos, and they're so good, so thought-provoking and everything else, which kind of led me to this video today. So here, I have my Glock 35. I'm going to clear it here. There's no magazine in it. Alright, it's clear and safe. I got my Glock 35 here, and I've had this gun for probably a good 5 or 6 years or so. I originally got it for USPSA, IPSC, competitive shooting type things, which led me to put all sorts of crazy upgrades into it, and I'll show you what those are. I have a Lone Wolf match grade barrel. I have you can't really tell us by looking at it, but this is a Fulcrum Zev trigger, which is awesome, by the way. I've updated the sights. I've got True Glow night sights on it. I've got a beaver tail here and some extra rubberized grips here. I'll take it apart and show you some other stuff. And here I've got a upgraded, I think this is either an 11 or 13 pound recoil spring. But anyways, what makes it special is it has a tungsten steel guide rod in it. So that makes that, my idea there when I was building it for USPSA was to make the front end a little heavier, help with recoil muzzle flip. I also have a recoil buffer in here. This goes between the frame and the spring. So quite a few upgrades in this gun, and I'm kind of switching my philosophy of use from having, and before I get too far into it, this had like a mag well on it. It was like kind of like a funnel thing on the end of the grip here to help kind of guide your magazines in. I took that off. Back to what I was saying though, I've kind of updated my philosophy of use from more of a competition gun to a go to war, I have one pistol to grab, and this is what it's going to be kind of gun. So I'm updating what my intended purpose for this gun is, and in doing so, I'm going to get rid of this heavy recoil spring. I'm just going to throw the stock Glock recoil spring back in it. Probably buy a new one because the one I had in it saw several thousand rounds before I switched it out with this one. I just like to have new parts. Because like Nut and Fancy always stresses, he hammers this home more than anything else, is, you know, watch your ounces. You know, he says something to the effect of ounces equals pounds, pounds equals pain, or some other adage like that. But anyways, he's so right. You gotta watch the ounces all day long. This is a huge one right here, right there. Also, what I'd like to do to it is I want to get a weapons light right here. I don't know if he reviewed it, but he mentioned it in a few of his videos, the Streamlight TLR3. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I looked it up on the internet, and it's like in the ballpark of $70, super lightweight. It's mostly like a polymer plastic sort of construction, super bright. Like, yeah, cool. Sounds like a winner. So again, it's all about the philosophy of use. I would never use a light for a competition gun. But as a home defense, personal defense, GTW weapon, oh yeah, that's a must-have, is a weapons light. Moving along. However, I'm going to keep my Lone Wolf barrel in it. I'm going to keep the sides. I'm definitely going to keep that trigger because, as we all know, I mean, I've shot dozens of different Glocks over the years, and one thing that they all have in common is that the stock triggers suck. I'm not talking about weight as far as, you know, trigger pull or anything like that. I'm talking strictly about how inconsistent and sloppy the trigger pull is. There's nothing predictable about it. This trigger here, this Fulcrum Zev trigger, is probably the most crisp, you know, predictable trigger I've ever used in a Glock. Granted, I haven't used a whole lot of triggers for Glock, a whole lot of aftermarket triggers for Glocks, but I love this trigger. I let a couple of my friends shoot it. you know, that night they went home and bought them for their Glocks. I mean, it's just that good. So I guess it's going to be a hybrid, if anything, between a go-to-war / competition gun, because really, I mean, you could take this out, put a stock one back in it, and all the other stuff I'm doing, I could still shoot it in USPSA if I want to. I haven't shot USPSA in several years now, but it's one of those things where if I wanted to get back into it, I easily could, you know. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm just kind of updating my collection of guns and my my philosophies of use for all my weapons right now. I'm in the process of this is one project. I got another project over here. I got the Mossberg Patriot in 308. That's another project. Thank God my AK-47 is where I want it. But this is kind of on the back burner. I was wanting to originally make a video for my Mossberg Patriot because I just went out and shot it for the first time the other day. Crazy story, bought it at Shields.